She's not dating right now, but when she started to date again, me, would be the first to know. Ergo, dibs.
You know how sometimes you have those movies that were okay, not extremely popular, probably didn't need to be redone, let alone a sequel? Well, for some reason, Schwarzenegger movies tend to fall into that category. Especially the sequel part. I don't normally like to talk about straight-to-DVD movies, as they tend to fail more times than not, but damn is this a lazy endeavor. Released in 2016, Kindergarten Cop 2 is a standalone sequel that, for obvious reasons, does not have Schwarzenegger reprising his role. Instead, we get Dolph Lundgren, who is big and muscular and has an accent, so it should be just as good, right? If not, they could just repeat almost every gag from the original, which they pretty much do, along with the overall plot about a federal agent going undercover as a kindergarten teacher.
Well, it sounded a lot cooler in my head.
Because that very idea, is just so fucking funny, it had to be done twice. There is absolutely no reason to expect anything good to come from this, but maybe it's not a complete disaster. No, it is. It's awful. It's outright sad. But perhaps because it's so terrible, there could be some fun to be had dissecting it, and no, it's just not good. There's nothing fun about this movie in any way, aside from contemplating why anybody thought it was a good idea. Why is this? Let's find out. This is Kindergarten Cop 2. There's no way anybody wanted this. We open with a pretty forgettable introduction, lasting about 2 minutes. It's designed to show us that our lead FBI agent, Zach Reed, kind of maybe has some history with our main villain, Alexander Zogu, played by... I'm sorry. I say history in a cliche hero and villain kind of way, but the point is, he's about to be executed.
Any last words?
Yeah. Pineapple.
Oh, I get it. This action comedy movie is building up to a hilarious punchline. Let's watch.
What is this pineapple?
It's a delicious fruit.
I know it's delicious. You are an imbecile. You know that?
Yes, I know that. Can we get to the joke?
I grant you your last words, and you give me pineapple nonsense. What is this?
You take the pineapple out of pineapple nonsense, you get this movie. What is the fucking joke?
Well, pineapple, it's the code word for the raid order.
That's it? We listen to all that shit for that? Doesn't even make any sense. What if he shot him in the meantime? That's not comedic, that's stupid.
This is only the beginning, my friend.
Well, that's true. The bad humor goes way beyond this. We then cut ahead a year later, that intro didn't exactly warrant that, in which we learn the girl from the intro is in witness protection and will testify against Zogu. Then, Zach attempts to shoot a vending machine for not giving him his candy, because that's what strong guys without anger issues do.
That's good to hear. Because that's something only a crazy person would do. A crazy person without a job.
But he's not crazy. It's never implied, aside from this moment, and shooting off that gun for any reason would likely have consequences. Especially for a federal agent. Zach and his partner Sanders, played by Bill Bellamy, are trying to interrogate Jason, played by Josiah Black, who apparently sold Zogu something, but he doesn't want to talk. That's okay though, it's nothing an overly used, drawn-out joke can't fix.
Let's cut him loose.
Yeah, we made a mistake. You sure about that? Yeah.
He doesn't know anything about the Albanians. We just keep an eye on him, and when Zogu kills him for...
That's about half of it, but you get the idea. They find out he sold Zogu the FBI witness protection database.
Isn't that convenient?
Which sounds a lot more serious than they make it out to be in this scene. And then the lights go out, leading into a shootout. Unfortunately, there's no other agents to help, but there is a vending machine, which he of course uses as a shield, and then a battering ram, because apparently this guy's bulletproof.
Well, who didn't see that coming?
The boss isn't happy about this because shooting bad guys who are trying to shoot you is reckless. And in a quick scene of exposition, we learn that this particular database contains their new identities and other information, so moving the witnesses wouldn't do any good. Luckily, Jason made his own copy of the database, which he put in a flash drive and gave to his brother, who just so happened to be a kindergarten teacher. I wonder where this is going.
Get me that drum!
You don't know what comedy is at all, do you? Unfortunately, they don't find anything, but they do interrogate Jason again, and find out that before his brother died, he said that the kids know. So we get a scene when they interrogate the kids, which is a combination of ripped-off lines from the first movie, and stuff that isn't funny.
Mr. Flaherty is dead. He's decomposting in the ground. My sister has a vagina.
Oh well, at least we have this genius line.
There it is. There's the flash drive.
This is a flashlight.
And it's funny because flashlight sounds like flash drive. Because flash. So the only option is to go undercover as a kindergarten teacher, which made a lot more sense in the original because there was a reason why he had to go undercover, as in this, there isn't. He wants to find out where something is. Why he has to fake being a kindergarten teacher is never explained, but the plot needs it to happen. Of course, the high-class school isn't going to allow this, and the headmaster already knows who Sanders is, so Zach must do it instead. Which is perfectly fine with him. In fact, it's his idea. Doesn't make any sense, but at least it's different, I guess. He easily gets the job, and we meet his copy and pasted love interest, Olivia, played by Darla Taylor. Because without one of those, the movie just wouldn't be complete. It's a fucking staple. As is the buddy cop aspect, as Sanders insists that Zach wear an earpiece.
You sure you don't want the earpiece?
Can I go now?
You can't even help white people.
It's okay though, as I have faith in this earpiece dilemma. I think it's gonna lead to something good later. For now, he commences teaching in a very liberal-themed school because it's ironic, I guess. He attempts to get the kids to talk about the flash drive, which he's already done to no success, but instead we get what this movie thinks is comedy.
But it's story time.
No, actually, it's technology day, so that will make it flash drive time.
No, it's story time.
Says who?
You know, unless you're someone who just finds this kind of stuff comedic, this is really hard to get right. Yeah, Schwarzenegger kind of pulled it off, but it's not like it was the funniest thing ever, and it really shouldn't have been attempted twice. Lundgren is a fine actor, but he's not right for this, and unlike the original, there is a lot more of it.
This book is full of liberal BS. Do not listen to this book. Let me tell you, sharing is overrated.
Okay, first off, books about sharing are not liberal. A lot of school books are about that. And this kind of thing is only funny when it makes sense. In the original, Schwarzenegger had no interest being there, which definitely showed, and his frustration with the kids lessened as time went on. In this, he actively wanted to do it, I don't know why, and it leads to a lot of scenes that feel completely out of place. Just look at these two scenes back to back. One of them's funny.
Today we're going to play a new fun game. It's called Police School.
And one of them feels forced.
Never apologize for abilities that makes you better than other people.
Funny.
Are these all your lunches? You mean you eat other people's lunches? Stop it!
Forced.
What makes you fat?
Well, I do 90 minutes of cardio and weight training every morning, so I think I'm good.
An actual scene that knows what comedy is. And whatever the fuck this is. In the end, one's about as comedic as something like that could be, while the other is just that. Anyway, I guess he just gives up for the day, and he finds a stun gun that'll definitely not appear again later. He meets Hal, played by Michael P. Northey, a computer teacher who, you guessed it, is not funny.
Yeah, same. But I'll tell you, some of the teachers here are fine.
You know, on second thought, I think I'm just gonna ignore this guy. Unless he does something relevant. We have another hilarious scene with kids screaming. And it's because of a peanut allergy that only affects one of them. Well, on the bright side, the villain of the movie isn't happy about his man failing, and is about to execute him.
Put it on the grill.
I don't fucking know. In a slightly more stupid scene, Zach gives the kids chocolate. What this accomplishes, I don't know, and of course they question it.
No, this is real chocolate. Milk chocolate.
With processed white sugar?
Who cares? It's chocolate.
Because that's exactly what kids do when you offer them chocolate. It's like that weird-ass ad when the kids question why they don't just drink water opposed to Gatorade. It's not real. But it wouldn't be true comedy without a close-up of the kids eating it.
Wow, good to eat some real chocolate once in a while, huh? You guys earned it.
Why? The reason this scene exists is so the kids can have a sugar rush and imitate the first movie. Only then, it was simply kids acting like kids, while in this, it's kids mature enough to turn down chocolate, going insane over a small amount of chocolate. Quiet! Was shut up too mature?
Mr. Reed, I have to go to the bathroom.
Yeah? Well, good for you. Yeah, go ahead.
So you're just gonna copy everything from the first movie, right? You really couldn't have thought of another way to get these two talking.
She peed on me.
Oh, God.
Who the fuck is laughing at this? She gets them to stop by clapping her hands, because that's how that works. And the only reason for any of this was to ask her if Kevin left anything behind that could be useful, which he didn't, making the whole thing pointless. I'd also like to know how he doesn't get fired, considering the kids don't normally act like this, but without even one actual comedic scene so far, how can we expect logic? Him and his partner argue about wearing an earpiece again, which somehow leads to this.
Well, no offense, but you're not exactly on the short list for director.
You know, just because you say no offense, don't mean you say something offensive.
And after a stupid, illogical scene that affects literally nothing, he gets in trouble for making the kids cry with an air horn.
We're getting serious. Do you understand?
That's it, I'm getting the stick. But first, you could always like the video and subscribe down below, unless you don't find child abuse jokes funny. I could complain about this being an annoying scene with kids crying, but how could he be this stupid, and why the fuck is he not fired?
That's strike one. 2 more. I don't care if you have a letter of recommendation from His Holiness the Dalai Lama. I will fire you.
So, if he comes back with bear mace, is that strike 2? And is a stun rod strike 3? What kind of progressive school is this? He apologizes to Sanders, immediately ending that engaging arc that lasted 1 scene. and agrees to use an earpiece. Obviously just filling out the buddy cop checklist, but at least we got that scene. So he tells him how to deal with the kids, who were pretty well behaved to begin with until he messed it up, making this whole thing feel pointless, but then again, so is this movie. He tells the kids the story of the Trojan horse, which doesn't relate to the scene at hand, so you know it's going to affect something eventually, making this the first scene of plot relevance in a long fucking while. He finally tries to find the damn flash drive, and instead ends up asking out the copy and pasted love interest. The same one that Zogu is now after, as he found out from Kevin's mother that she was his friend and may know where the flash drive is. We have another scene that's legitimately hard to watch, and even the abusive dad has to be ripped off.
Slow down, you're hurting my arm.
Molly, stop it. Molly, I don't have time for this, okay?
Excuse me for a moment.
We gotta get home.
Okay, he's not really abusive, and the resolution, again, affects nothing, but it kills a few minutes. The copy and paste job continues, as the date is supposedly just to get information, and then there's this.
Make a better impression if you get him early.
Even the fake reasoning for him being a kindergarten teacher has to be copied. Do you have no shame at all? He then asks her if Kevin ever gave her a flash drive or some unmarked packages, which immediately makes her suspicious, but he gets out of it by saying it would help him relate to the kids.
You know, if I know Kevin better, I could know the kids.
What the fuck kind of sense does that make? This still gets us nowhere, so instead they go out dancing in a scene that lasts way too long, and they run into Zogu. He makes her leave, explains that he's dangerous and why he's dangerous, but still, we get shit like this.
Well, A, I can take care of myself. Thank you very much.
Fucking hell, just end this.
So you were like, protecting me.
One stupid line. You get one stupid line. You can't have two that contradict each other. Fuck you.
I want to know where he is. I want to know what he eats for lunch. I want to know what size of a crab he takes.
This is a sequel to a movie when Arnold Schwarzenegger plays a kindergarten teacher. I shouldn't be this mad about this. The comic relief wannabe tries to get Zach fired by saying he brought a taser to work, and you know where it's going.
Not war!
Oh my God!
Oh, I shot his neck! Oh, God!
He then cheats at capture the flag by using a fake flag, which is what that Trojan horse thing meant, I guess. And in the midst of more pointless scenes, Sanders finally tracks down Zogu. However, the events that follow are kind of odd.
What's going on?
The reason this is odd is because a few seconds later,
he stole a surveillance van. He's got everything.
It's weird, isn't it? I guess Zogu, the guy known for, what is it?
He kills people for a living.
Is kind of opposed to killing people. That is, of course, until a few scenes later when he isn't. But first, Zach admits that he isn't really a kindergarten teacher.
How dare he bring this toxic... And this is strike two!
It's kind of funny. It's the only remotely funny thing in this movie. It's stupid, but it's kind of comedic. Luckily, the kids are safe on a field trip, which is a good thing, as Zogu now knows they're the key. Which we finally learn is a poem that the kids memorized, leading them to find out that the flash drive is in the time capsule. The same time capsule that the kids are currently burying on the field trip.
Isn't that convenient?
Unfortunately, Zogu happened to show up at the exact same time.
Isn't that convenient?
And tells his henchmen to kill Sanders, which he could have just done back at the van, but whatever.
Of course, kill the black guy.
Well, actually, I thought that was the reason they let him live. I guess not. But even the most minor things from the original movie must be copied, so that's that. And the copy and pasted love interest isn't happy about being lied to, and thinks it wasn't real. Given the time they spent together led to literally no progress, it must have been somewhat real. So he gets the flash drive from the time capsule and prepares to execute them in a surprisingly open area. In my book, that's a happy ending, but as you know, this movie's fucking awful. And he somehow magically knew where he'd stop to execute them, and managed to coordinate a plan, telepathically I guess, which would put the kids in great danger, but yeah, that's what happens. Sogu escapes, Zack pursues, and only one will be victorious.
You have spent way too much time in kindergarten! That was anticlimactic.
But let's face it, that's not the obvious line you were expecting.
Class dismissed.
That's the obvious line you were expecting. What else? Him and Hal make up, still don't know what this guy is about.
Who the hell is Hal?
You do know that yelling for no reason isn't funny, right? Copy and pasted love interest fulfills her role, and I guess he stays a kindergarten teacher. I mean, their intention is to copy the first movie, so obviously, yeah, but it's barely even acknowledged. Even for a movie of this low quality, it does somehow feel off. So that was Kindergarten Cop 2, and again, why is it a thing? The first movie wasn't the best thing out there, but it did manage to take a concept that isn't really all that funny and make it into a decent film. This, on the other hand, is essentially everything bad you'd expect from a movie like this, and then some. It's not funny at all. It ranges from obnoxious to an outright cringeworthy attempt at comedy, and I don't think I laughed at a single damn thing. The plot is literally absent for a good part of it, and the story we do get isn't memorable in any way for the basic reason that it's just an excuse to rehash the first movie. That's really all this is. Almost every notable scene is copied. The execution is mediocre at best, not a single character is memorable, and it's clear that no thought went into any of this. It's so bad that even discussing it seems pointless as it is straight to DVD, but it's so fucking lazy that I felt the need to point out the fact that this kind of thing can get made with a notable actor in the leading role. Now that you know, I implore you not to check this out. It's not so bad it's good, it's just bad. I'm the analyst, and remember kids, chocolate is bad for you, water is good for you, but I guarantee no kid in kindergarten gives a shit. So, you've made it to the end. That's an impressive feat indeed. Since you managed that, I guess check out the gaming channel, in which I cover a variety of gaming topics, like analysis videos, such as this one. If you're into that, then press the link in the description. It's that simple.